Good morning, evening, and afternoon, and welcome to episode 21 of 9, episode 3, Haru iro haru koi haru no kaze. Firstly, I'd like to apologize if I might sound a bit off or have a few pauses in between. I stupidly had something dry to eat, and it's irritating my throat. So yeah, I do apologize. Yeah, so last episode was interesting for a few reasons. Firstly, we started off with how do I word this? Like, not finalization, but more like they finally found out that Sophie could be working with Yoichi. The whole them overhearing Yoichi and Sophie and not being caught was a surprise to me. I thought they would have been caught and there would have been a big climatic turning points, but no, nothing happened. Okay. After that, they had a little meetup at Kakeru's house and discussed what to do next. Firstly, they talk about how firstly they found out where Yoichi is. Then they talk about plans and how to spike his drink, in a sense. Give him that ambrosia. I mean, the plan itself seems like it could work, but I just don't think it will. It just seems like it would go too smoothly, in a sense. But I just don't think they're stupid enough to fall for that as well. I don't know. It's tough to say. Anyway, after that, they had a little funny... what's the word I'm looking for? Not really a parody, but like they spoke about something that I didn't expect about the Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, which was pretty funny in itself, and bonding about it as well. Specifically, Noah and Haruka, which is pretty funny. They're a lot alike than I had first thought. Then they went a bit off track. Then Kakeru was then talking about how your Sophie is not who we think she is. She's working with Yoichi, and that she told Yoichi that to kill us. So, as you would know, I went on a big rant or big talk about Iris versus Sophie. It's complicated. My thought process is complicated, I should say. Trying to word it as I did before will just make me more confused, so I'm going to try not to. But yeah, so lastly, they finished off saying the greatest foe for them is Sophie. Short version for me is I don't think so. But I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I'm enjoying this, so I want to see what really will happen in the end, if it really will just be this simple. I mean, things have been quite simple in the past, which have let me down. But we'll have to see, I guess. Anyway, that's about that. So let's see what they have to say about Sophie being the greatest foe for them. Everyone's expressions darken. Sora and Yuki didn't really get to talk to her much, so they're not taking it too hard. But Kujo's gotta be devastated. This whole time, she wanted to use her powers to do the right thing. Everything she's done to protect the city. And this whole time, it's Sophie who's been affirming Kujo's sense of justice and nudging her along. It's possible Kujo would have tried looking for the Evil Eyes user on her own. Well, she technically did. But I have no doubt it was because Sophie asked for her help that Kujo made up her mind so quickly. It's also entirely possible she's had discussions with Sophie in private, just like me. She probably trusted Sophie completely. Which is exactly why. Unfortunately, I can't afford to conceal the truth. This isn't the time to be sparing her feelings. Oh, is this about her killing?
ソフィーは俺を監視している。四六時中じゃなくて、多分監視カメラで録画するような、そういうやり方なんだと思う。今まさに見られているかもしれないし、後で見るのかもしれない。何にせよ、まだバレていないとしても、いつか必ずバレる。バレた時、ソフィーがどう動くかわからない。駒を殺し合わせるのが目的だから、黙認するかもしれない。イーリスと繋がっている俺たちを放置できず、余一に俺たちを殺させようとするかもしれない。それに、そう。余一だ。まだおとなしくしているが、もし本腰を入れて俺たちを殺しに来たら、なす術がない。一人ずつ殺されて終わりだ。逃げられない。冷静に考えたら、最初からじっくり準備をするなんて選択肢なかったんだよ。今すぐにでもやるしかないんだ。ソフィーか余一、どちらかが動き出したら俺たちは死ぬぞ。
An oppressive silence fills the room. The music does not match it. Not even Sorta tries cracking a joke. Of course, despite all my bravado, I'm not actually ready to die. It's precisely because I don't want to be killed that I'm panicking.
余一が次の犠牲者を出さないためにって、そう言えたらかっこよかったんだな。
Sorry for the weird pause here, but it's one of those. Why does she do this if she doesn't want to do that? Type of thinking I'm having now. It reminds me of the second episode when they were going to fight Ghost for the last time. If Sophie wanted them to kill Kakeru, obviously this is much further into the future. This is like half a month to go. So obviously, as I mentioned last time, she could have built her trust for Kakeru instead of Yoichi then, so that could have been that. But if not, then why did she agree to help him fight Ghost, not only protect him from the evil eye, but also give him a power, an artifact, to fight against it? That's another contradiction to what we know of what we've heard this episode. Anyway, just a weird. I just remembered that now again. So, anyway.
俺はまだ死にたくないし、何よりみんなに死んでほしくない。せっかく仲間になれたんだ。誰か一人でも欠けるのは。やめよう。とにかく余裕なんてない。不確定要素が多くてもやるんだ。やるしかない。
そうだね。
Well, yeah, in a sense, it's like they don't really have any other plan, and as you mentioned, they can't just keep delaying it, so, yeah.
不確定要素は私が、はい、私が頑張って潰しますので。
勇気としては、とても正攻法とは言えないから、不服かもしれないが。
そうね。空も言っていたけれど、まるで悪役の作戦ね。けれど、飲み込むしかない。それが、力のない私たちの罪と罰。イレギュラーが発生した時は、今度こそ何とかする。私と、私の G オーダーが。
ああ、頼りにしてる。焦りすぎかもしれない。 けど可能性はゼロじゃない。今日終わらせよう。
ええ。
よし、じゃあ夕方まで。
待って、お兄ちゃん。
どうした？
大事なこと忘れてる。
When she says it, it's gonna be something stupid, isn't it?
なんだ？
Yeah, it's gonna be something stupid, isn't it?
結城先輩、
何かしら。
お兄ちゃんにお兄ちゃんにも名前つけてあげてください。
It is something stupid, okay. Okay, that's regards to his power.
は？
Yeah.
ニーニの力にも名前つけてあげてください。つけてあげてください。
お前何言ってんの？
わかるよ。一人だけ能力名がなくて寂しいの。私わかってる。
いや、お前何言ってんの？
いいからいいから、照れなくていいから。結城先輩、お願いします。
いいでしょう。
いや、いいから。そういうのいいから。
It'd be so funny if it was the same name. What was it again? Not Chaos, but I can't remember what his name was. The power's name again was.
チームワーク乱すんじゃないよ。空気読みなさいよ。こういうの大事でしょ。
いや、大事じゃないだろう。
いえ、大事だと思います。
そう大事？本当に？
でも、名前つけてもらって不確かだった力が輪郭を持ったっていうか。ほらね、つけてもらおう。かっこいいのつけてもらおう。先輩、どうぞ。
ファティマの予言と名付けましょう。
Okay.
ファティマの予言。やったね、ニーニー。かっこいいね。よかったね。
I mean, the original name was pretty cool, if I recall.
おい、もっと喜べよ。ちゃんと言えよ。能力発動した時俺のファティマの予言がとかその都度言えよ。
お前マジ、ほんとマジで空気壊す天才だなお前。
そのための私でしょ。ずっとしかめっ面してたら疲れちゃうよ。
そうね、まだ時間はある。作戦開始まで休息を取りましょう。
お腹空いてませんか？簡単なものでよければ私作ります。そうだ、私お菓子買ってきてて。そういえば飲み物もないじゃん。ニーニー紙コップってあったっけ？
あるよ、持ってくる。
いいよいいよ、私やる。ニーニーは座っときなさい。私も冷蔵庫の中確認しようかな。お菓子適当にどうぞ。
いただくわ。
We go from serious planning to lazing about in a blink of an eye. Actually, that's not quite true. Everyone looks a little nervous still, but they're doing their best to act normal. At least, it feels that way to me.
新見さんもどうぞ。
ありがとうございます。
I take a chocolate-covered almond and pop it into my mouth. Sworda's got a point though. If we stay tense all the way until evening, we'll just be exhausted when it's time for action. We should rest for now. We'll settle things with Yoichi today. As for what we're going to do afterwards, we can think about it later. All we can do is believe things will work out. It's time to put an end to this. I didn't expect it to happen so soon, because I know this part is going to go for a long time. So I think we'll keep going until I find a good point to stop, because I don't want to have an hour-long episode. But yeah, okay, so we run into a game. So will everything just work perfectly fine and end quickly, or will it just fall apart as quickly as it started? We run into Takamine again around the same time as yesterday. Like before, he's got a convenience store bag in one hand. Inside are 2 meals and 2 bottles. Perfect.
まったく金がないのか知らないが、毎日公園でデートとはな。
ほっとけよ。俺たちの勝手だろ。
君にはがっかりだ。我らを血眼になって追うかと思えば、色恋に夢中とは。
そっちこそのんきにコンビニで弁当買ってるだろうが、人のこと言えるのかよ。
確かにな。食わねば生きていけないのが辛いところだ。だが、我らの逃亡生活もじきに終わりを告げるだろう。余市はゲーム感覚で逃げたようだが、君たちはもうすっかり諦めてしまっている。遊びは終わりだ。間もなく狩りが始まる。獲物はもちろん怯えすくんだ。君
誰が怯えてるって？
違うのか？エンプレス。いや、もうこの名では呼ぶまい。高坂君は君の影に隠れ、私の顔を見ようともしないじゃないか。
Senpai looks down and grabs my sleeve. Of course, she's not actually scared. She's just concentrating. There's a possibility Takamine might decide to leave right away. So she's using her power to keep him here. She's also trying to make it so that Takamine doesn't turn around and spot Kujo doing her thing. Surreptitiously, I think that's how you say it, sneak a glance at the bag in Takamine's hand. The bottles inside have vanished. Since Kujo's power steals ownership of something as well as the thing itself, Takamine hasn't realized they're gone. We're almost there. I need to think of some random topic to keep his attention until the ambrosia's been injected. Doesn't matter what I talk about, just need to say something.
まったく、本当に残念だよ。同じクラスに同校の師がいた幸運に感謝したが、裏切られるとは。どうやら私は人を見る目がないようだ。次は慎重に選ばねばな。
次？
ああ、次
だ。諦めていないのか。理想郷ってやつを。
Good topic.
もちろんだ。高坂君も同調していたはずだがな。
ユーザー以外の人を殺すって意味なら、そんな理想郷いらないです。私のエデンはそんな血生臭い世界なんかじゃありません。高峰君の思う理想郷とは違います。
エデンか。みんなに好かれたい。それが君の願望か？確かに一緒にされたくはないな。自身は努力せず、ただちやほやされたい。それが君の望みだろう。
私は
男の影に隠れたままでは、どんな主張にも説得力などないぞ。人格を交代したらどうだ？普段の君はただ救われることを待っているだけの卑怯で歪小な臆病者だ。
おい。
I step forward, glaring at Takamine.
黙れよ。
嫌だと言ったら
黙らせる。
できるのか？手も足も出なかった たこの私を相手に。
できるできないの話じゃねえだろ。てめえは先輩を侮辱した。
ほう。
Takamine smiles arrogantly. The bottles are back in his bag. I can see Sora signaling me to end the conversation from her hiding place among the trees. But I can't just let him go after he insulted Senpai like that. That being said, I know better than anyone how stupid it would be to start a fight right now. Damn it. I need to calm down. I have to find a way to de-escalate the situation or we'll be in trouble.
牙を剥いたところで虚しいだけだな。決して私には届かないというのに。だが安心したよ。まだ萎えてはいなかったようだ。
俺は余一のことをまだ諦めちゃいない。
そうか。
Grinning confidently, Takamine turns on his heel.
では楽しみにしているよ。せいぜいその牙を研いでおくといい。余一と再び相まみえるその時まで。
Laughing maniacally, Takamine walks off. Thank God he backed off.
新見さん、すみません。
え？
本当は私が自分で怒らなきゃいけなかったのに。
いや、俺が短気すぎただけです。こっちこそすみません。
本当だよ、バカ兄貴。
いって。
Sora slaps me on the back so hard I stagger forward a few steps.
なんだよ、言ってえな。
なんだよじゃねえよ。一服盛るなんてこすい作戦立てたの何のためですか？戦闘を避けるためでしょうが。それなのに喧嘩売ってどうすんでい。
すんませんでした。
危なっかしかったけれど作戦の第一段階は完了した。結果オーライとしましょう。
うまくいったか？
蓋は開けてないし色の変化もなかったから見た目では多分バレないと思う。司令官の人行っちゃうよ。早く追いかけないと。マンションの場所は分かっているから。あ、そっか。別に焦らなくていいのか。でも潜伏場所変えちゃってるかも。
そうね。ここで見失ったら全てが水の泡
だな。追いかけよう。そら、念のため頼む。
オッケー、任せておきなさい。スタンドアローンコンプレックス起動。
Okay.
これもう能力かかってんの？おい、どうした？
いや、技名叫ぶの思った以上に恥ずかしかった。
いずれ慣れる。
はい、でもこれっきりにしておこうと思います。
で、能力かかってんの？今。
はい、かかってますかかってます。でも気休め程度に思ってください。みんなにかけると効果めっちゃ弱くなってるっぽい。
了解。行きましょう。
We chase after Takamine with Yuki taking point. All we can do now is pray they drink the ambrosia. I really hope this works.
またここか。
いいじゃん別に。お気に入りなんだ。
弁当を買ってきた。飲み物も好きな方を取るといい。
お前もけなげだね。毎日走らされて。
I was wondering when we'd see Ghost again because we haven't seen her in quite some time.
ゴーストもいたのか。
一人じゃ寂しいんだとさ。おしゃべりなんで僕は。何買ってきたの？
唐揚げ弁当とハンバーグ弁当だ。
Sounds nice.
飲み物は？
紅茶と麦茶。紅茶は無糖だ。
紅茶ちょうだい。喉乾いた。
ああ。
サンキュー。
Well, it sounds like he's drinking it.
なんかいつもと味が違う気がする。
改良でもしたんじゃないか。
解約でしょこれ。レイヤも飲んでみなよ。
もらおう。確かに紅茶とは異なる妙な苦味があるな。
でしょ。エグさが増したっていうか、前の方が。
Oh, did it actually work?
どうした？
なんだ。
よいちか、なんと胸が。
やられたな。契約終了だ。じゃあな。
She knew instantly what had happened. Oh, is he trying to throw it up?
よいち。
おい。
Oh, wait, something's not right. Oh, do you know what happened? What I think is happening? The ambrosia that Iris has given them was not the weakened version, and it was too powerful for them. When I see Yoichi and Takamine start coughing up blood, I hurriedly run out onto the rooftop. What's going on? The ambrosia's not supposed to do this.
Yoichi! Takamine!
I sprint over to the two of them. When I crouch down next to Yoichi, he grasps my shirt. He glares at me with bloodshot eyes, but he's unable to say a word. He puts as much hatred and rage into his gaze as he can. A second later, Yoichi's head droops onto the ground. He's not moving. Not even twitching. Takamina's gone still, too. He's staring blankly up at the sky, his face a rictus of pain and confusion. Neither of them are moving.
嘘だろ。
I gently place my hand over Yoichi's. He's still got a death grip on my shirt. They're gone.
脈がない。
死んだ。
嘘。そんな、どうして。霊薬は殺さずに契約を破棄するはずじゃ。
そのはずだ。魂を仮死状態にするって。
あら、私そんなこと言ったかしら。
Yeah. Oh. Everyone turns around. That evil look. Sensei is standing in front of the rooftop entrance. Stigma on her forehead's glowing.
イリス。
ご苦労様。うまくやってくれたわね。ありがとう。
Smiling, she slowly walks over to us. Well done? You mean this is what you wanted?
どいてくれる？その死体を改めたいから。
Corpses.
なーに？
死体って薬でこうなっているだけですぐに息を吹き返すんですよね。
バカね。死んだ人間が生き返るはずないじゃない。
そんな、私たちが嘘だ。だってそんなこと、私たちそんなつもりじゃ。
子供はこれだから嫌なのよね。この程度でうろたえて。
この程度。人が2人も死んだのに、この程度。
死んだ？殺したじゃなくて？
騙したのか。
騙したなんてひどいわね。傷ついちゃう。
俺たちを騙したのか。
あなたたちが勝手に勘違いしただけ。私は一言も死なないなんて言っていないでしょ。
イリス。
ああ、待って。文句なら後でいくらでも聞いてあげる。今は。
Iris kicks Yoichi's body. It rolls limply away and she doesn't spare a second glance. Her attention is focused entirely on a puddle of blood that he's been lying in. She picks out something out of the blood. So that is the Evil Eyes artifact. An earring, huh? Yoichi's artifact.
ようやくだわ。私の右目、ようやく会えた。
右目？
ああ、ごめんなさい。確かに私嘘ついていたわ。実はまだ手放してないのよ。
The earring floats up into the air, then vanishes into a tear in space.
目なんだから2つあって当然よね。
Iris points to each of her eyes, and a dark red stigma appears on her face. She's got the evil eye.
みんな目を閉じろ。
I quickly turn my back to Iris and shout out a warning. When I turn around, I...
聞いていいかしら。みんなって誰に言ったの？
They are already gone. For a moment, I can't process what my eyes are seeing. Or rather, my brain doesn't want to process it. Everyone's been turned to stone. Kawasaka Senpai, Sora, Kujo, Yuki, every last one of them. None of them even had a chance to scream or try to run. They were turned to stone in an instant. In just one instant, everyone...
そんな嘘だ。そんな
これが魔眼の真の力。千年もかかった。この時をどれだけ待ち望んだか。
A pair of slender arms wrap around my neck. I can feel Iris's cold fingers on my cheeks.
あなたのおかげよ。協力してくれてありがとう。とっても役に立ってくれたから、あなたを石にするのは最後にしてあげる。これから残りのアーティファクトを集めに行くわ。けれど誰が持っているかわからないから、 手当たり次第石にしようと思うの。どうかしら。明暗でしょ。せっかく魔眼が揃ったんだからたっぷり使ってあげたいしね。
Iris snaps her fingers. Everyone's bodies start to crack. Cracks grow wider, and their bodies break apart. What used to be my friends crumble to the ground. Iris takes something out of what used to be each of their bodies. 4 objects made of silver. She chuckles, shoving the artifacts in front of my face.
ほら簡単。これはもらっていくわね。そんなに心配しなくても大丈夫よ。痛みなんてないから。自分が死んだことにも気がついていないかも。ああ、そうだった。忘れてた。安心して。この体も全部終わったらちゃんと返してあげる。壊れちゃってても許してちょうだいね。他人の体ってつい雑に使っちゃうのよね。それじゃあ世界のすべてが石になるまでここで
Iris vanishes. An unseasonably cold wind blows across the rooftop. I desperately gather up the fragments of my friends, trying to make sure the wind doesn't carry them away. Eyes bloodshot, I drop to all fours and scrape the ground for any tiny pieces I might have missed. But no matter how hard I try, everyone's already... Our 4 comrades returned to stone, and I killed my 2 enemies. I'm the only one left alive. I break out in a cold sweat. It's hard to breathe. Why did this have to happen? Why? Why? I was waiting for you to come out.
選択を間違えたわね、かける。もうこの枝は終わりね。取り返しがつかない。
見ていたのか。ずっと。
ええ、ずっと。
どうして。
言わなかったのか。だって信じないでしょ、あんな状況じゃ。
陽一と話していたから。俺は
一応誤解は解いておくけれど、私の協力者はあなたたちだけよ。
あれはソフィーじゃなかった。
そうね、あなたが見たっていう私は私じゃない。
まんまと俺は踊らされて、みんなをくそ
I slam my fist into the ground. Over and over and over. It doesn't hurt. All I feel is rage. The only emotion burning within me right now is white hot anger.
なぜ言わなかったのか。もう一つ理由があるわ。あなたは失敗を糧にできる。 この枝では失敗してしまっても別の枝のあなたが成功をつかみ取る。
Okay, I was gonna wait until the end until I gave all my thoughts and my reactions to all this. But again, I mentioned this before, but this is one thing I hate in timeline type of stories. Where, sure, she probably couldn't have done much in this branch, but she could still have tried. And she knew that he was going to fail regardless. So yeah, don't worry about this one. We'll just go to another branch. And yet this branch had its own life and people living in it, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And yet she just threw it away like it's a game. But I'll leave the rest after this.
実感はないかもしれないけれど、あなたはそうやって少しずつ前進してきたのよ。さあ、どうするの？もう諦める？それとも。
決まってるだろ。
I clench my bloody fist and get to my feet. Like hell, I'm giving up here. No way I'm letting it end like this. If my artifact has the power to govern fate, then I'm gonna change this shitty ending.
もう制御できねえなんて許さねえぞ。目覚めろ。オーバーロード。
Overlord, that's it. That was his name.
目覚めろ
！There we go. Okay, well, I can't do anything, so I have to click this first. Travel back in time and defeat Iris. Well, interesting words here. Unfortunately, I gotta read the kanji, so I can't remember if that's the correct wording, but travel back in time, not look into the future or look into the other branches to defeat Iris, but travel back in time, meaning it's the same branch. I don't know. That's the problem with time travel. You never know what branch you're in. Was it 510? I really have no idea. I really need to see days properly. It's one of the things I had problems with. Anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens next time, because it ended up being a longer episode than I wanted again. Mainly because this talk is going to go on for a bit. So I am glad most of my theories are correct. And I say not just one, but most of my theories. Specifically, one of my earliest ones in episode 1, on who I thought the evil eye user was. Not only was one of them correct, but multiple were correct. I mean, it's quite obvious when you think about it. As I mentioned at that time, most people that have important roles in a game, in this type of visual novels, specifically ones that have a sprite and voice, you would see it and know it. And specifically because the only people who have voices and names are the ones that we know. Obviously I was unsure if that would be correct, but it's nice to know that Nadase is Evil Eye user. Well, I'm technically half correct. Not really correct, but yeah. And then with the Yoichi as well. Then with Sophie and Iris, I'm so glad that Iris isn't the good one. I had a feeling that it just... how can I word this? I didn't really have much proof in a sense, obviously. It's just more like, I just felt like Iris, the way she was going about it, if we were to compare it to how Sophie was going about it in episode 2, they're two different things. And I knew that Iris's one wasn't the weakened ambrosia. Because we compared that to Sophie's, where she told us it would take that long to create a weakened one. And she started the production of it as soon as this whole thing started with the breaking of the artifact. So that's why I knew that if it takes that long to create a weakened ambrosia, for Iris to just come up and give it doesn't make sense. But it's quite well written, I gotta say, because I wouldn't have thought of it being the reason why they died. I would be wondering, why did they die? Was it because of the ambrosia? Obviously it is, but I wouldn't know what caused it in a sense because of the ambrosia. But we know because of the previous episode 2, she kept specifically talking about the weakened ambrosia and the strong ambrosia. She had to make it weaker because of how long it's been since the stronger one was used and all sorts of things. And then the fact with they did this pretty well, because I mean at the end of episode 2, when we heard the voice of Sophie talking to Yoichi, and we thought, could it be Sophie? We don't know. But obviously the voice was similar-ish. And then when we saw them talking with each other again last episode, I think it was last episode, yeah, with Yoichi and the illusory body of Sophie's, I thought her voice sounds different than usual. I think I mentioned something about how it might not have been Sophie. I can't recall if I called that or not. If I did, I'm glad I did. If not, then I should have called it out. So this is the type of thing I really enjoy. Thinking about what could be and what could happen, and then your theory being correct was brilliant. I love it. Now I'm thinking of other branches I should say. Episode 1, first branch, when Kujo was turned to stone. I think that was Naruse who did that one. Mainly because of the body being destroyed, and because Kujo could have seen into Naruse's memories, and then proven it like that. But oh wait, no, they can't confirm it. So I think it was. I think episode 1's Kujo's death was Naruse. True ending of episode 1, with Commander being turned to stone. That one I think was Yoichi. The reason being, he had a more of a peaceful look to his face. He was more calmer and more at ease, I should say. And from what we know about Commander, he is always there for Yoichi. He wants to do as much as he can for Yoichi. And it makes sense that it was Yoichi who did that to Commander, because Commander would, who knows, maybe he just accepted it. But again, that could just be Naruse again tricking him. I don't know. And then episode 2's first, oh no, we didn't have this alternate ones, but the episode 2 when that we know at the end, well, during episode 2 was interesting as well. I'm trying to think now about, I'm trying to think of Naruse's interactions with everybody now that we know the full thing. I can't recall if she showed any change in her demeanor at the end of episode 1. It would have been interesting to know that. And then in episode 2, when Naruse, well, when we told Naruse about the petrification, now that I think about it, she wasn't too shocked. It wasn't like, sure, she was surprised, but it wasn't like she was shocked or... Yeah, now that I think about it, her demeanor was a bit off than what I would expect a teacher. But I mean, because the problem was, we didn't really think much of it because Naruse, her personality itself is a bit, you know... And then I'm trying to think now. At the end of episode 2, we saw the first time about the possibility of Sophie interacting with Yoichi, but we now know that wasn't Sophie, that was Iris. And now episode 3. Sorry, just hold on a second. I just thought now. I remember the time on, I think it was, yeah, it was episode 2 when we wanted to know more about the past life of the past history about the town and things like that. We got documents from Naruse. Naruse could have easily just not shown us or told us about it. But I think... why did she... Because it wasn't going to lead us to anything. And it wasn't going to help us with anything. So I wonder if that was just Naruse herself that didn't mind it, because there was no point in it. But obviously that would lead to Iris itself, so... But anyway... So now in episode 3... sorry, I keep distracting myself here. I want to go back to the episode 1. The one petrification has always irritated me, I guess you could say, is the one with the elementary school student. That one hasn't been spoken about, obviously because it only happened in episode 1. But I mean, not spoken about, more like related to that. Like there was no talk about somebody seeing something like that or mentioning that, or it's the only one that's a bit confusing for me. It could just be a random story thing. Okay, well there was another petrification person. Sure, we didn't see any pictures or art or any further talk about it, but it's weird because I'm always going back to it, thinking that there could have been something about it. But anyway, yeah. Let's see. Now let's go back to episode 3. This episode. So what made Iris talk to us so early on? Was that because we... No. Why? Why did Iris interact with us a lot earlier than normal? I mean, why contact us in this branch altogether? It's a lot earlier than anything else has happened as well. The only thing that has changed, obviously, is that we know Yoichi. Is it because Yoichi didn't show up at school? And was that after that? I'm just trying to think of what made Iris decide to show herself. If you happen to know, please let me know, but if that was shown or mentioned, because I can't recall. Otherwise, I don't know if that might come up later. If not, then I'll see for myself. And in the end, this will end up being a nearly an hour episode. Lastly, as well as with the Sophie, there's so much I want to talk about still. I'm a bit rambling here and there, so I do apologize, but trying to get my mind in order, my thoughts out. So let's finish talking about Iris first. In episode 3, we didn't see much about her in the beginning, but then when she did show herself as Iris, she acted well as the so-called goddess. Everything I probably would have been fooled by it myself if it wasn't for the fact for two things: the ambrosia and her wanting the artifacts and not giving it to Sophie, or as well as warning us about Sophie. So it's about three things: Those three things tipped me off by thinking that, okay, maybe Iris isn't the good person. Because Iris could have been the person on the side, linking us to the past and present, giving us important information and clues and things like that. But I didn't expect her to be evil or bad. But when those three things were pointed out to me, that tipped me off thinking, okay, she is probably the evil one and not Sophie. But then with the Sophie thing, seeing Sophie with Yoichi, that really confused me. But then when we heard her voice, and after my rambling talk about it from last episode, I realized maybe it's not Sophie? Because, as mentioned also in this episode as well, about episode 2's interaction with Ghost, how much Sophie had helped us. Whenever I think about what Sophie has done for the group throughout all the episodes, it's always in the purpose of helping and protecting them. When it comes to not overusing their powers, not telling them how to spread their powers, how to make contracts with artifacts because it can corrupt them, their personality and their wanting to get more type of thing, like Ghost, for example. Helping him against Ghost's fight, helping him with the plan to show Yoichi, wanting to find the evil eye since she didn't actually know who the evil eye was. It makes sense that you would think that Sophie, I don't know how, oh no, never mind, I was going to say how, but obviously the group hasn't been with Sophie as much as we have, I guess you could say. So I was going to say, how can you trust Iris's word over someone with like Sophie? But of course, from what they've seen, they were tricked as well from Iris. So it's understandable how they would be confused, like I was in a sense. But yeah, it's good to know that Sophie is on our side. I really liked Sophie's character. Probably the two best characters I've seen so far is Sophie and Sora. Or except for a bit of episode 2 Sora, not so much, but episode 1 and a bit of episode 2's and episode 3's Sora's I enjoy. The acting, the voice, the comedic timings, and the facial expressions all work so well together for Sora, which is great. But yeah, so now lastly, just to end it off now, I'm thinking what to do now, because so I think we've gone back and past, but from what I can tell, we retained our memories of it, and I think this is when properly went in the past. I don't know if this is a different branch. We don't know that yet, and I will know that next time, so don't worry about mentioning that. But anyway, so I think next we're gonna see, I think this is the 2nd of May. I don't know what date that is. I'm sorry. I see the dates and then it just goes away completely. It's like you're forgetting about it. Anyway, so I don't know if this is going to be like episode 1, where it's going to see a lot of yellow text or not. Or it'll be different because obviously Kakeru probably might remember a lot of things, so it might be different. So I'm hopefully to see that. And then I'm thinking of what is going to happen. So in episode 1 we had to find the evil eye. In the end we didn't find the evil eye, but we found glimpses of it. By Kujo being turned to stone and Commander being turned to stone. We're getting closer. Episode 2, we found out about Rigveda, and that one of them could be the evil eye user. Then in the end, we found out that Ghost is the evil eye user, and that Commander is also evil eye user. Then we defeat Ghost and Commander, and all is well. but then we find out that Yoichi is the evil person with evil eye. So you see, we're gradually going further and further up in terms of the person who is on top of the most villainous position, I guess you could say. Or the person we need to defeat. Now in episode 3, we thought, okay, well it's Yoichi then. We go through the first branch, and we find out, okay, so we kind of obviously defeated Yoichi. But then we find out, oh, Iris is the evil person. So now we're going to start this one, and now we have to defeat Iris. So okay, will we defeat Iris in this one or not? We will not, obviously, but then I'm thinking, what's going to happen in episode 4? Is there another person above them? Who knows? But we'll obviously find out when that happens. But it's an interesting way of game storytelling, I guess you could say. Weird way of phrasing it, but yeah. Anyway, regardless, this was a great episode. We learned a lot of things, we were able to talk about a lot of things, find out a lot of things, and yeah, a lot more mysteries being fulfilled. Still a few things to go, but we're getting there. Anyway, it's a great episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. And please let me know what you thought. And then I will see you all next time.